Hi there, welcome to my views and news. Three news stories. Firstly, the largest budget in Ethiopian history was approved by the Council of Ministers. We'll talk about that. Secondly, a prisoner who was arrested around 2 years ago, uh, he was accused of inciting violence. He's seen as pro Amhara, predominantly pro Amhara. He was released today. An old man, I think he's around 70. Thirdly, Sudan, viewers. A week ago, almost a week ago, Sudanese political parties held a meeting in Ethiopia. Read a video if you remember. Taqaddum is the name of the coalition, led by Abdullah Hamdok, former Sudanese prime minister. But it seems Al Burhan is not happy with Taqaddum. Ethiopia hosted Taqaddum, and Al Burhan threatened this Sudanese political parties forum in a speech a few hours ago. What did he say? Let's start with yours. July is the start of new fiscal year in Ethiopia. That is why budget for the next year is being approved. Council of Ministers has approved it. Now it has been forwarded to the House of Representatives, where definitely it will be approved as well. Because in Ethiopia, what Council of Ministers says is approved by the House as well. I have not seen so far any decision made by the Council rejected by the House. This is the largest budget in Ethiopian history. An ambitious budget, 1 trillion birr worth budget. Around 17.4 billion US dollar budget for the next year. Last year, it was around $15 billion budget was presented. So this year increased around 2.5 billion US dollars. When last year budget was presented, it had increase of 200 million US dollars from previous budget. This time, around 2.5 billion dollar increase from the last year. How will Ethiopia manage to achieve these targets? What is Ethiopia hoping? Where will it get funds from? All that questions will address in coming videos. In this video, we're just telling you that the largest budget in Ethiopian history has been approved. Is it a sign of prosperity, economic growth, or the targets are very ambitious? That we'll discuss in coming videos. Secondly, viewers, the man arrested around 2 years ago was at last released. Now, when state of emergency has come to an end in Ethiopia, in the Amhara region, prisoners are being gradually released. Prisoners who were mostly arrested under the state of emergency proclamation. When the state of emergency was in place, these prisoners were not taken to courts. They were kept in custody indefinitely. In some cases, some were taken to the courts. But they were not freed. Now, courts are freeing these prisoners, obviously, under the instructions by Ethiopian government. So, state of emergency is turning into relief for prisoners. But I told you that some prisoners are being given offers that they should join the national dialogue. That is how they can be released. So, will Tadios Tantu, will this man join the national dialogue? Let's see. The name of the released man is Tadios Tantu, who is, he calls himself a historian. People say he's not a historian. He's a fake historian, and that he works for imposing Amhara dominance. He's not Amhara himself, I think. But he's a controversial figure, known for his work. People say that his works are controversial. Government obviously, prosecutors filed charges against him, accused him of spreading conflict. Old man, I think, is around 70. He spent 2 years in prison. At last, he got relief. He is one of the first prisoners who were arrested after the start of unrest in the Amhara region. Though armed unrest started last year, but even before that, in 2022 as well, disarmament campaign against Fano was being considered. People were speaking in support of Fano. Some were being arrested too. So Tadios was arrested, I think, in 2022, if I am not wrong. The man is free. He has been freed from prison reportedly. Last viewers, Al Burhan not happy with a Sudanese political coalition which held talks in Ethiopia last week. Around a week ago, a Sudanese political opposition, not opposition, there is no government led by politicians in Sudan, military is in power there. Sudanese political parties held a conference in Ethiopia in Addis Ababa. Taqaddum is the name of the coalition. It's led by Abdullah Hamdok. Abdullah Hamdok is the former Prime Minister of Sudan. When Al Burhan tried to stage a coup, he put Abdullah Hamdok under house arrest when Abdullah Hamdok was the Prime Minister. Later, he was released, but he refused to remain part of the government, and he just resigned. Now Al Burhan is the main man in charge. The Taqaddum held discussions in Ethiopia, and Al Burhan, General Abdul Fattah Al Burhan, is threatening Taqaddum, saying that these Taqaddum people will be held accountable. They are conspiring with Sudanese enemies. They are not working to end the conflict. They are conspiring with rapid support forces. Serious allegations. Obviously, Al Burhan is accusing Ethiopia to indirectly, he did not mention Ethiopia by name, but indirectly he accused Taqaddum of coordinating with Ethiopia and RSF to organizing a summit in Ethiopia. So far, no signs of any de-escalation, no signs of any tangible dialogue between the Rapid Support Force and Sudanese military, which could lead to permanent ceasefire, permanent solution. Both parties believe they can continue with the military solution and they can take more territories. That is why fighting continuing in Darfur, especially around Al-Fashir, other parts of Sudan too. US is supporting the creation, the establishment rather, of a government with participation of military and political factions. But Al Burhan is threatening Taqaddum. So, which political parties will join Al Burhan? By the way, Al Burhan might like to form alliance with another political opposition, another political coalition, which is backed by Egypt. It is a new group backed by Egypt, and Al Burhan would like this group to be part of the government. Uh, Russia intervening as well in Sudan. We know Russia is offering weapon deliveries to Sudan in return for establishing a naval base in Sudan. Overall, it's a very complicated situation on the ground in Sudan. So many players with different interests. How will peace come? That remains to be seen. Thank you for watching.